What is up, Star Wars nerds, and welcome back to the channel. Got a different format for you guys this time. I did this back in July, I think, when I had COVID, where I'm just going to be talking to you guys in just a more casual, what I'm calling a vlog. This would be vlog number 2. Minimal editing, not very much production to it. I just don't have a whole lot of time this weekend to work on a proper video. But I still wanted to get out my thoughts on the recent Hasbro Pulse Livestream, and I got a few pickups to share with you from the past week or two. And so, starting with the Hasbro Pulse Livestream, let's just get right into it. I want to give my thoughts, starting with the Black Series. Not a great showing overall for the Black Series on this one. And I'm going to start with the Ki-Adi-Mundi. That was a pretty cool reveal. That's a Jedi we definitely need in the vintage collection. So Black Series is getting that one first. And he looks all right. About what I would expect with the Black Series. I don't have a whole lot of comments on that one. They also revealed this interesting Revenge of the Jedi poster version of Darth Vader. This is going to be a celebration exclusive for the celebrations coming up in London. And, you know, it's just a repaint of Vader. He's got some red splashed on him. I think it's a bit weird. I guess it looks kind of cool, but not something to get excited about, really, in my opinion. Won't be pursuing this one. Now, and then they reveal Clone Commander Jesse. First of all, it should be arctrooperjesse, in my opinion. Don't think Clone Commander is particularly accurate, actually. But the biggest disappointment is the rangefinder. I just went off about this for the vintage collection a few episodes back. I brought up that Jesse had this rangefinder on his helmet, which is just not correct. And, you know, they clearly just were mass producing the same helmets from Echo and Fives and just repainting them, and just couldn't be bothered with removing the rangefinder and filling in that hole. That was just, I guess, going to be way too expensive. I don't know how that works. It just seems ridiculous that you couldn't get that feature correct. And so when they revealed Jesse for the Black Series, I was just floored that they still got the rangefinder on there. I can't believe it. It's kind of funny to me. But I'll be passing on this one. Now, a definite win for Black Series on this is the Rebel Commando for Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary. This is a good looking figure, in my opinion. I think they nailed this one, and I do like it's got the swappable heads with the young trooper, and then you got that old bearded guy version who, you know, people like to say is Captain Rex. It's not Rex. I know Filoni kind of joked about it that it could be, but anyways, I digress. But it's a very cool looking figure. I do think the extra head shown in the bubble is a bit creepy for display purposes, but this is probably one most people are going to want to take off the card. Very cool action figure there, so I do like that. Yeah. And then the other big win for Black Series, in my opinion, for this live stream is the pipeline reveals with the darthmalgus. It's going to be a deluxe figure, which means cha-ching. It's going to be very pricey, but this guy is an awesome figure. He's one of my favorites from the vintage collection. And I have no doubt a new version of him for the 6-inch scale is going to be awesome looking. I think he's really going to be a good figure. I think a lot of people will be excited about this one. So glad to hear that Black Series is getting Malgus. That's going to be cool. Also, they pipelined the Ahsoka Loyalist helmet, and I am interested in seeing what that's going to look like. I think that could be very good. I'm seeing a lot of positive reviews with that new Phase 2 Clone Trooper Black Series helmet. It looks very good. I've thought about getting that one, but now that I know this Ahsoka Loyalist version is coming out, I might want to wait until see this one come out, because I may want to get this one instead. I think that could look really cool depending on how well they do the paint. So excited for that one, actually. All right, let's talk about vintage collection reveals. There were some excellent reveals. Now, what I mean by that is, we knew most of these figures were coming. They had already announced them, but just this is the first time we've actually seen, high-res images of them in the card backs. And so the reveals for those was a definite win, a lot to get excited about, at least for me. And let's start with Admiral Piet. We knew this guy was coming. We've seen even some low-res images of him on the back of card back, and he does not disappoint. It's a great mold. I think he looks really good. I may be most excited about the card back. I love this card back choice they chose for Piet. He looks awesome standing there in front of the Death Star. What a great picture. I'm really excited about that card back. And it's a great looking figure. I do like the face sculpt is a pretty good likeness for the actor. And I like the mold. I like that the hat's removable. I saw some people online maybe complain about that, because maybe the hat's a little bit oversized because it's removable. But it didn't bother me, and I think it's a cool feature to make it removable, so I'm good with it. I would have been fine either way, to be honest with you, but I do like that it's removable. So this is definitely a win. I'm very excited about this figure and all the potential officers we could be getting using this mold. We already know we're getting Moff Jajerod is coming down, and so maybe we can get a Grand Moff Tarkin, a new one, because the original TVC 1.0 Tarkin is not great. It's got that cloth skirt looking thing that's I'm not a huge fan of. So I think that would be pretty cool. And who knows who else we could get down the line. I'm really hoping they will use this mold to make a Thrawn, for example. That's one of my most desirable TVC figures that I want. So good things to come for Imperial officers, I'd say. And then, oh man, the Darth Vader from Death Star 2. This is the one with this helmet off. This is awesome. I mean, we already know they're using mostly that mold from the Darth Vader Dark Times, which is just an amazing figure. And just first off, the card back. What an awesome card back. I love this image. I don't think we've ever had a Darth Vader figure that used that image on the cover. I could be mistaken. Maybe Legacy Collection may have used something very similar, but obviously not on a full card back like this before. So that was really awesome to see. I'm really excited about that. And then I like how his arm is chopped off. I mean, his hand and wrist is chopped off. That's swappable, but that's a really cool feature. And I'm most excited about the 3-piece helmet. So you can take off the top part there and just have the face mask portion, which to me that looks really cool. And then you can take the face mask part off as well, exposing Anakin's face. So just a little bit of a controversy with the head sculpt. Obviously, with the card back image, you're getting the original actor there, Sebastian Shaw, when he takes the mask off. And the mold, to me, looks like it's a combination, sort of a morph of Hayden Christensen and Sebastian Shaw. And so I think it's kind of cool that they went with that kind of halfway in between. Although a lot of people think it's straight up just Hayden Christensen. I see kind of both. And I'm okay with it. But I can also see if this is supposed to be Hayden Christensen's face, that is a little bit odd considering the card back image is the Sebastian Shaw version. So I do think that's an odd choice if that's what they're going for. but if it really is a combination, I'm okay with that. I really am. I'm good with it. Very excited about this figure. Love the card back. All right, then Han Solo. I really like this one as well. The card back image is awesome. It's a totally new image. We haven't seen this image of Han on a action figure, packaging before, and so this is a great image. I love the choice here. Great looking card back, and the figure is mostly new. I think from the waist up, I believe, and the head sculpt is pretty good. Now, a lot of people, when they first saw this image, and I was the same way, was a little nervous because, like on this first image here, I mean, his face does look a bit on the chubby side, a little frumpy, and so I was a little nervous when I saw that. But other angles, I thought he looked great. I thought they really captured Harrison Ford's look really well. I think the best version I saw was in the video. I think maybe Emily or one of the Star Wars teams was holding the actual figure, and on that view of them holding that figure on camera, he looked really good. I think it was kind of from the side, mostly they're showing him, and I was really impressed with the likeness. So overall, I think this is a win. I think it's going to be a great head sculpt once we get it in hand. Certainly way better than the Han Solos we've gotten in the past for TBC. I was just not happy with really any of those at all. I thought they were pretty terrible, actually. So very happy with the Han Solo. Then we got the reveal for the Clone Captain Hauser correction. I mean, to me, this didn't even really warrant an announcement. They'd already told us they were going to do this, so I don't know why they needed to take a moment of the live stream to go over this in detail. It's the same exact figure repacked. They've literally just corrected the name on the name pill. Just don't really care. I doubt I will pick this up at all. Just not a big deal to me. I'm sure if you're a variant collector, it's a bigger deal. I'm not a huge variant collector, so again, just not a big deal. It's fine. They want to put this out to correct it. I have no problem with that. I just thought it was kind of a waste of time talking about in the live stream, so I'm not going to talk much more about it. All right, then the Clone Trooper Phase 2 armor. Now, we knew we were getting this. We'd seen a few images, kind of low-res images of him, and I was getting excited about how he looked. The thing that really caught me off guard was that they're putting him on an Andor card. I did not see that coming at all. I kind of get it because, one, they're trying to promote new media and trying to get more, I guess, Andor figures out there, considering we only have 2 in TBC, which that's a whole other topic I've touched on before. So I get that. And then also, I think they kind of modeled this mold on the live action uniforms of the Phase 2 armor. Since Revenge of the Sith, it was all CGI, right? So I think they maybe said this on the live stream, that they modeled the mold off of the live action suits used for Andor. So I guess it kind of makes sense also that they would take that scene, that flashback scene from Andor, and use that for the card back image. So I don't have any issue with it. I just thought it was very surprising to put on an Andor card rather than, something related to the Clone Wars or Revenge of the Sith. But that being said, it is an excellent looking mold in my opinion. I have seen some images where maybe the head looks a little bit too big and maybe the legs look a little bit too fat. But those have been just a few images from certain angles, and I think it's fine. And like looking at a couple of these images here, I think he looks great. I have no complaints when I look at this thing. I think everything looks in proportion, and the helmet looks in proportion. It does not look too big to me in some of these images. So I think we'll have to wait and see till we get them in hand. But overall, I think we're going to be very happy, and no doubt about it, no matter what, this is going to be an improvement from the previous Phase 2 Clone Troopers we had with those super skinny legs. So I'm very excited about this. I'm sure it's going to be improvement. It's just going to see, how much of an improvement it is once we get it in hand. And then, of course, we know they're going to use that new Phase 2 Clone Trooper body for future releases, all kinds of repaints. That's expected, and I'm totally cool with that. And they didn't waste any time, so they put out this Phase 2 Clone Trooper 212 pack. I like that they went with this as the first battle pack with using the Phase 2 Clone Troopers. These guys look good. I like the paint jobs on these guys. I thought it was a little odd they included Waxer in there because he has some very unique features on his helmet. He's very distinctive, and so if people are army building, a lot of people aren't going to want to have a ton of those Waxer figures on there. But it's not that big a deal, I don't think. I would have personally preferred if they had released Waxer on a card back separately. I think that would be pretty cool. But I do think the decals or the paint apps on his helmet are very impressive. So really excited about this. I do plan to get one of these packs. I'm not a huge army builder collector, obviously, but I will get this one. I just think they look really cool, and I really want that Waxer. I think my son wants this one too, so I'm going to have to buy two, I think. And then they released revealed the Star Killer Vader's Apprentice reissue from TVC 1.0. We knew this was coming. They announced this a while back, and they put it on an expanded universe card, which is the same card. They basically just are putting it on the exact same card back as before. And it's a great looking card back. Don't get me wrong. I love this card back. This is a figure I've been wanting. I did not have, and was actually trying to buy it just before they announced that they were going to reissue him. So totally fine with the card back. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw I did post that I was a tad bit disappointed they didn't try to go ahead and re-release him on a corrected card back with the Force Unleashed logo that they've put out so far. They've put it out for the Stormtrooper Commander, and it's a cool looking chase logo. So I had just a tiny bit of hope that they might decide to re-release Starkiller with that Force Unleashed chase name. I think that would have looked pretty cool, and it also would have made a lot of people happy that already have the original version and maybe want a variant, especially those that paid upwards between $200 and $250 for him on the aftermarket for the original. I know people are unhappy about this re-release. Those people that spent that kind of money on it are not happy. It's it's kind of the exact same thing that happened with the Ahsoka. So I just thought that if they had used a variant image on the card back, or variant chase logo, that would have made everybody happy, because it would have had that major difference between the original release and the re-release. Whereas here, it's virtually no different, at least on the front of the card back. So if you check out my episode 18 of Brett on Fett, I did a whole video on card back corrections, correcting the inconsistencies between the different chase logos across the line. And this was one of them, where I did a mock-up of Starkiller with a Force Unleashed name chase. So check that out if you're interested. And then finally, for TVC reveals, they had a couple of pipelines for figures, and then a couple of vehicles. And with the figures, they had revealed Luke Skywalker from Book of Bobafett. This was actually on my Book of Bobafett episode for top 10 figures I'd like to see made for TVC from the show. Not that surprised that they've revealed him from Book of Bobafett, since they have that new Luke from The Mandalorian. So it's just going to be a little bit of modifying of that figure, I imagine, for the Book of Bobafett version. So some people are wondering if he's going to come with a Grogu. I'm going to guess they're not going to pack a Grogu in there. I think if they were going to do that, they would have included Grogu on the pipeline reveal image. So I think it's just going to be a simple Luke from the show. And then the other interesting figure reveal was an Obi-Wan and Battle Damaged Vader 2-pack. I'm very interested to see what they're going to do with this. I've seen some rumors that it may actually be on a card back which I find hard to believe with 2 figures, having trying to make that work. My guess is it would be in a deluxe pack like we had with the Ahsoka and the Boba Fett Tatooine, etc. But again, I've heard rumors that it's going to be on a new style packaging and possibly a card back. So interesting to see what they'll do with that. So I thought that was kind of an interesting release, and I'm definitely excited about the Vader, the battle damage Vader. I think that would look really cool. The Obi-Wan, I'm afraid, will just be very similar to what we've already gotten from that series for Obi-Wan, just some slight modifications. So not too excited about that one, more excited about the battle damage Vader. And then we got a couple of vehicles. One we already knew about, basically. If you follow Yakface, you knew that they were going to put out a speeder bike from the Mandalorians. This will obviously be a repaint of the recent Return of the Jedi revealed one. The only question is whether or not it's going to come with a remnant scout trooper. And if it does come with one, will it be carded or not? My guess is they're going to use the exact same format, and it will have a carded remnant scout trooper included. I'm really hoping that that's the case. I think it would be a bit strange if it literally was just the speeder bike and no scout trooper to go with it, considering we don't have a remnant scout trooper in the line. So I just don't see that happening. I'm pretty confident this will come with a remnant scout trooper. So, that's pretty cool. Not something to be just insanely excited about. It's just a repaint of the other speeder bike. So, but it's interesting. I'll probably pick it up, especially if it comes with a figure. And then possibly the most exciting reveal, which wasn't a huge surprise because I think this was leaked a long time ago, maybe almost a year ago. But the Mandalorian version of the N1 Starfighter was officially revealed. Very excited about this. Definitely will be picking this up. I just hope they do a good job making it to the right scale. I just want a very accurate scaled fighter. I'm hearing rumors that it is going to be pretty pricey, over $100, possibly around $130, maybe even as high as $150. So at that price, I would expect the scale to be very accurate and have plenty of paint decos. So I think this thing is going to be pretty awesome. Oh, so then this is another one that divides a lot of people. So they revealed yet another retro collection prototype figure, but this time it's the Mandalorian. Now this one caught me way off guard. I think most of us assumed if they did continue the prototype figures, they were going to continue them from the original trilogy on just Star Wars name chase. That's what they've been doing up to this point. So that did catch me off guard. I think I would have preferred that they continued that trend of just the Star Wars card backs and original trilogy figures. But I have to admit, I do like the way this looks. If you follow me on my channel, you know I love the prototype figures. I really do. I just think they look awesome. I think they display awesome. So I do like it, and I definitely will be getting this. The artwork looks cool. I do like the fact that they made the weapons the original old style, Kenner blue. They made a big deal about that. They probably made too big of a deal about that, but I think it was a nice touch. But for me, again, it's all about the card back, and the artwork on this looks really cool. So I'm very excited about this. And then another one that caught me by surprise for the retro collection was pipelining that the next retro wave will be from the Book of Boba Fett. Kind of did not see this coming. Not crazy excited about this. I'm starting to sour a little bit on retro collection, getting a little bit tired of the retro collection, if I'm being honest. Don't hate it. I just starting to get a little tired of it. I'm a little bit irritated with the fake weathering on the cards. It's really starting to bother me. Kind of had enough of it, especially I think after they revealed the new Indiana Jones retro line and how they're not using the fake weathering. And those look fantastic. I've pre-ordered the Indiana one. Can't wait to get that one. And it's like, yeah, I mean, how come they could do it that way? Why do they do it that way on Indiana, but why do they have to do this fake weathering on the retro? I just can't stand it. It's the worst part about the retro collection, in my opinion, is the fake weathering on the card backs. But anyways, I digress again. But so we had Boba Fett, the Nomad Boba Fett. You had a Tusken Raider, Fennec Shan, Chrysanthemum, Cad Bane, Jedi Luke Skywalker, Grogu, and the Mandalorian with the Darksaber. These are interesting selections. We've already got Grogu, so we know what that's going to look like. It's just going to do some really minor changes to him, I'm sure. And then Luke, I'm sure, will be just like the Jedi, Return of the Jedi retro collection Luke, just with a few changes. The ones I'm most interested in is Chrysanthemum. I want to see what they do with Chrysanthemum and Cad Bane. I'm really interested in seeing how they do Cad Bane in the old Kenner style. I will definitely be picking that up because I'm a huge Cad Bane fan. If I'm being honest, I'll probably only pick up the Cad Bane and the Chrysanthemum, depending on how the Chrysanthemum looks. I'm probably going to pass on the rest of these for retro collection. We've already gotten the Mandalorian multiple times, the retro collection, so I doubt I'll pick him up unless he just looks way different, and maybe if the card back looks really cool or something. We'll see. So this is kind of a ho-hum reveal for me. Caught me by surprise a little bit. And then, okay, lastly, we'll just finish with this. The Scout Trooper helmet for the Black Series. This is awesome. We've been waiting for this. I have not been a helmet collector until recently. But ever since they started doing these in the Black Series, I always told myself, if they ever release a Scout Trooper helmet, I will pick that one up. And so now that I have a very small collection of 3 Black Series helmets, I'm definitely going to be picking this up. This is a no-brainer. It looks excellent. I like the fact that it has the hinges. It can raise up. But even if it didn't have that, I would still buy this thing, no doubt. It just looks really good. I think it looks like it's really well made. And the Scout Trooper helmet is up there as one of my favorite Trooper helmet designs. So very excited about this one. Definitely going to pick this up. And by the way, if you guys didn't know, Hasbro did announce that they're not doing pre-orders for any of these reveals. And I actually kind of like it. I think, I've been complaining in the past about the pre-order process and how we had so many pre-orders built up and they kept revealing new figures before we were even getting all these pre-orders filled. And so I think this is actually a good idea to hold off on pre-orders for this, wave of figures, if you will, and until all those previous pre-orders start getting delivered to people. So I kind of like it. I wouldn't say I'd like for them to just totally get rid of pre-orders completely, and I don't think they are, but I think they should be spaced out. So I think they're making the right decision here by doing this, but we'll see how it goes. Let me know in the comments what you think about eliminating pre-orders, at least for certain waves and that sort of thing. So that's going to be it for the reveals from the last Hasbro live stream. Next, just wanted to quickly share a few pickups, kind of some small pickups. First off, I did pick up this Chrome R2, and this is actually the second one I've gotten. I have him carded. I didn't want to open, and this is one of those anniversary releases from the early 2000s that Hasbro did, and I'll splice in a video showing it closer up how it looks and showing the card back. It's a pretty cool release. If you guys watched my last episode on San Diego Comic-Con releases, I showed the silver Boba Fett and the silver Sand Trooper. So this one, the R2 is not a convention exclusive or anything, but it was just part of that anniversary line. And I love R2. And the cool thing about this R2 is they did that. They have the blue trim on there, so he's not just totally chromed out, just all silver. He does have that blue on there, and that's what I loved about him. So I wanted to get a second one to open, and I got him for really cheap. I think I paid $15 for him, and you could get most of these silver figures anywhere between $15 and maybe $40-50. I think the most expensive one, there's a New York Toy Fair exclusive Vader where he has a lightsaber. It's actually, the lightsaber is actually red and it's coming through the bubble intentionally, and that's pretty cool. I think that one tends to go for a little more, like maybe $40 or $50. But overall, you can get these pretty cheap, and they display really well. They have little to no articulation. This R2's leg just wiggles a little bit. But I think for display, they look pretty cool. And then I also picked up this Aunt Beru. I specifically got this for my son because he just wanted the service droid that came with her. So see, I've already opened up the bubble and taken the service droid out and given it to my son. I don't know why I'm still hanging on to the card back. I just haven't decided what I want to do with Aunt Beru. Now that I have her, my son didn't want her. He just wanted the droid. And I'll put a video on here showing you the droid, what he looks like. It's the most basic droid figure ever. It has zero articulation. It's really just like an accessory. But it's a pretty cool looking droid. It would be nice to have one that did a little more. I think there might be another one that's like a treadwheel droid. I think there's one that came with a Jawa and maybe another droid. I think in the maybe the Saga collection. I'll have to check on that. But I think there's a much better treadwheel droid from the service droid that came with this. But anyway, so I got this. I think I paid about $6 for Aunt Beru, so you can't beat that. And she's not a bad looking figure, and she comes with the blue milk dispenser and the blue milk glass. And it's got a flashback photo with Shmi Skywalker. So yeah, pretty cool pickup for $6. You can't really beat that. And then my favorite pickup from recently is the Black Series Darth Maul. Finally came in. I'll put up a video as well for this. And yeah, I mean, this guy looks awesome. I love the head sculpt they use. It's a different expression from the one used on the Vintage Collection, which I like because I have the Vintage Collection one. I didn't want to just have an exact clone in the 6-inch scale from the TVC one. So I like that it's a different expression. The rest of them, it's really very similar to the TVC, and he looks awesome. And it's really a tribute, as good as this figure is, and as big of a win for the Black Series that this figure is. It really made me even appreciate the Vintage Collection one more, because really they're just so similar. It's amazing, you know, how good of a job they did on the Vintage Collection one, because it's such a smaller scale. And then the Ahsoka figure just goes so well with this Clone Wars version of Maul. I just love that lightsaber duel the two of them had in season 7 Clone Wars. And it was just an epic moment for animation. And again, the Black Series version of Ahsoka from Clone Wars is an excellent figure. She looks really good. But the Vintage Collection is equally as good. Looks just as good. I mean, they're almost spitting images of one another. There's a little bit of a difference with the face deco. Other than that, I mean, they look like identical figures. And just, again, makes me appreciate the Vintage Collection even more with how good a job they're doing with a 3 3/4 scale, because if it matches what the Black Series is doing, which is a bigger scale, which you'd think is much easier to do detail on a bigger scale figure, it's just really impressive. But I don't buy a whole lot of figures for Black Series that I already have in Vintage Collection. I try to mostly collect Black Series figures that they don't have in Vintage Collection yet, with the exception of just some of my favorite characters. But they did such a good job on the Black Series versions of Ahsoka and Maul. I had to get them as well, even though I already had the TVC version. So I'm happy to have both. I enjoy both. So, but really impressed. Again, with the Maul. This would be probably one of the figures of the year for 2022. But most of us didn't get him in time for 2022, so I didn't include him on my best of 2022 video for Black Series. But if I do one for 2023, he's definitely going on there because he looks fantastic. So very impressed with the Maul. All right, guys, that's about all I got for this episode. I appreciate you sticking with me through this vlog as I just kind of spewed my way through everything. And don't forget, you can also follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. Take care, and we'll see you next time.